Could you imagine walking into a room filled with hope, only to have it crushed by someone who holds the power to change your life? That's exactly what happened to Tessa Monroe. She had spent years dreaming of this moment, sitting across from a CEO who could open doors she'd been knocking on for so long. But instead of respect, all she found was mockery. Let me tell you, her response wasn't just surprising. It shook the entire foundation of his world. Before we dive deeper, take a moment to hit that like button if you're rooting for underdogs like Tessa, because this story is made for people like you, people who believe in justice and resilience. And hey, drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from today. Is it somewhere sunny or cold outside your window? Your thoughts matter here. Let's step back now and uncover how Tessa got to this point, shall we? Tessa Monroe grew up in a small town where dreams often stayed locked inside hearts because no one believed they could fly. Her mother worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table, and her father left when she was too young to remember his face. From an early age, Tessa learned to fight, not with fists but with determination. She wanted more than what life handed her family, more than late-night bills piling up and whispered worries about making ends meet. She wanted freedom, stability, something bigger than herself. Her dream? To become a marketing strategist, a job that would let her create campaigns inspiring others while pulling her own family out of struggle. It wasn't easy getting there. Nights were spent studying under dim lights after long shifts at the local diner. Weekends meant skipping fun to polish resumes and prep for interviews. Yet every rejection letter felt like another brick added to the wall blocking her path. Still, she pressed forward, believing deep down that hard work always pays off. One day, an email popped up in her inbox, an invitation to interview at VisionCore Enterprises, one of the most prestigious companies in the industry, the kind of place people dreamed about working at. For Tessa, this wasn't just an opportunity. It was everything. A chance to prove not only to the world, but also to herself that she deserved a seat at the table. But as she walked into their sleek office building, doubt crept in. What if they saw right through her? What if they realized she didn't belong here among polished suits and confident smiles? These fears gnawed at her insides, yet she pushed them aside. Today wasn't about fear. It was about proving herself. The waiting room buzzed with energy, other candidates flipping nervously through folders or scrolling phones. Tessa sat quietly, rehearsing answers in her head. When her name finally echoed through the intercom, she stood tall, smoothing her blazer before stepping into the lion's den. Inside, Marcus Hale, the CEO himself, sat behind a massive desk, his sharp gaze scanning her resume. His reputation preceded him. Brilliant, ruthless, and unapologetically ambitious. Some called him a genius. Others whispered he chewed up employees and spit them out without remorse. Tessa swallowed hard, reminding herself why she was here. This was her moment. "Ms. Monroe," he began, leaning back in his chair, "I see you've applied for our senior strategist position." He paused, letting his eyes linger on her photo longer than necessary. Then came the smirk, the kind that sent shivers down spines. "Tell me, you think someone from—" He glanced at her address again, almost dismissively. "Your background can handle the pressures of this role." The room froze. Did he really just say that? Tessa felt heat rise to her cheeks, embarrassment mixing with anger. Was he doubting her abilities based on where she came from? Or worse, was there something else beneath those words? She clenched her fists under the table, forcing herself to stay calm. "Mr. Hale," she said slowly, each word deliberate, "my background has taught me grit, perseverance, and how to solve problems creatively. Perhaps you should focus less on where I started and more on what I bring to the table." His laughter cut through the air like glass breaking. "Oh, this is rich," he muttered, shaking his head. "You've got guts, I'll give you that." For a second, Tessa thought about leaving, walking out and never looking back. But then she remembered all the nights she spent crying over bills, all the time she told herself she wouldn't let anyone stand in her way. No, she wouldn't walk away, not now, not ever. What happened next shocked even her. As Marcus continued mocking her, Tessa reached into her bag and pulled out a folder. Inside were detailed plans for a campaign she designed specifically for VisionCore, a project she poured months of research and creativity into. "Since you seem skeptical," she said, placing the folder on his desk, "maybe this will help you understand my capabilities better." Marcus raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued despite himself. He flipped open the folder, scanning the pages. At first, his expression remained skeptical, but as he read further, something shifted. His lips parted slightly, and his fingers traced over graphs and strategies outlined meticulously. For the first time since she entered the room, silence fell heavy between them. "This," he murmured, almost to himself, "is impressive." Tessa crossed her arms, refusing to soften her stance. "Impressive enough to overlook my background, Mr. Hale?" He looked up, meeting her gaze for the first time without condescension. There was something unreadable in his eyes, admiration, perhaps, or maybe guilt. Either way, Tessa knew she had struck a nerve. But the real twist came later that evening. As she sat alone in her tiny apartment, replaying the event of the day, her phone buzzed. It was an email from VisionCore. They wanted her to join immediately, not as a senior strategist, but as the head of a new division focused on innovative marketing solutions. Apparently, her ideas had resonated deeply within the company, even reaching board members who demanded her inclusion. At first, Tessa hesitated. Could she trust them? Would this be another trap disguised as opportunity? But deep down, she knew she couldn't turn away. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about showing everyone that talent knows no boundaries. Months passed, and Tessa thrived in her new role. Under her leadership, VisionCore launched groundbreaking campaigns that earned global recognition. Employees admired her tenacity, clients praised her vision, and Marcus Hale, well, he kept his distance, though rumors circulated that he often referenced her work during meetings. Still, questions lingered. Why had he laughed at her during that fateful interview? Was it arrogance, ignorance, or something darker? Tessa decided to confront him one afternoon, cornering him in his office. "Why did you laugh at me?" she asked, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside her. "Was it because I'm black? Because I come from a place you don't understand." Marcus sighed, rubbing his temples. For once, his usual bravado seemed absent. "Look, Ms. Monroe, I've made mistakes. Many of them. Laughing at you is one of them. I judge you unfairly, and I regret it. But let's be clear, you earned your spot here. Not because of pity, but because you're damn good at what you do." It wasn't the apology Tess expected, but it was honest. And sometimes honesty is all we need to move forward. So what does this story teach us? That true strength lies not in avoiding challenges, but in facing them head on. That judgment based on appearances or assumptions can blind us to greatness. And most importantly, that resilience can turn even the harshest rejections into triumphs. Now, dear listener, I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced prejudice or doubt, only to rise above it? Share your story in the comments below. It might inspire someone else going through the same battle. And don't forget to hit that like button if this resonated with you. You're amazing for sticking around till the end. And remember, your journey matters. Keep pushing forward, no matter what stands in your way.